Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to the Survivor Series, our big pay-per-view. This took a good bit of build and hopefully will deliver as we're now firmly on the road to WrestleMania. I'm really looking forward to this show. It's been 6 weeks of booking in-game, a couple of tournaments that we've done, which hopefully the right winners will benefit from winning and hopefully get a good push after that. Yeah, I'm just really excited to see how this event goes down. A few kind of things have happened in between. We'll note them as we go through, as they relate to particular matches or angles. Yeah, I just hope you guys enjoy it. So let's crack on with the show. So we're in the Reliance Stadium in Texas. That's a nice 71,094 fans in attendance. We've got a hype package. This is basically for an interesting matchup. It actually is a kind of, I don't know how really I would describe it, a revolution, if you will. So, obviously we know the alliance of Shane McMahon, Baron Corbin and Pete Dunne, of course the former World Heavyweight Champion. But then you'd something like Becky Lynch, who was just told she's never getting another women's opportunity, or women's title match. So she's took it against Shane McMahon. She's been rolling up Baron Corbin in matches. Then CM Punk, who we all know was a heel, Zack Sabre Jr. was a heel, was like, do you know what? We agree, those are opportunities been under this Shane McMahon regime. They've not been here, and Will Ospreay was another one, so they're all pissed off at Shane McMahon, which sees us in this Survivor Series type matchup, which 3v3, which will open the show as well. So looking forward to see how Becky rolls in with the guys, and a good chance to push CM Punk and Zack Sabre Jr. as baby faces. So that's an A89. If you saw on Twitter a few weeks back, Joe Coffey had to retire. He had finished his comeback from an injury, and literally the day after just says can't compete anymore, retired. So straight on the announce desk is Joe, and also got the show off to a strong start. He got the crowd hotter as this storyline, one of many segments today, nearly 400 minutes of stuff on this event, so we'll carry on. So opening match, not fantastic. It was about had good heat and decent wrestling, and the team of Becky Lynch, CM Punk and Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Baron Corbin, Shane McMahon and Pete Dunne in 16-19 when Becky defeated Shane with the hard knocks. So a B79 is, suppose it's okay. There's a reason why I'm quite accepting of that. Shane the weak link. Obviously Punk and Shane have had physical decline. They're obviously getting on in age, so they can see there 74 for CM Punk shows he's been hit badly by that, and a 61 by Shane McMahon. But best performance out of the lot, Becky Lynch with a 90. Fantastic. So got the show off to a good start, got the crowd hotter, couple of skill improvements, but most importantly, it's a win for the man, Becky Lynch. And Arn Anderson confirms that Shane McMahon, that's us by the way, our user character, needs to be booked a little smarter. Totally exposed. My bad. So we have the final of the Cruiserweight Classic. So I'm just going to go through with each tournament the brackets to get here. So it's Ricochet versus Marty Scurll. So in round 1, we had Cedric Alexander against Evan Bourne. We had Ricochet against Mustafa Ali. We had Shane Strickland against Rich Swann. Akira Tozawa against Christopher Daniels. Leo Rush against Tyler Bate. Marty Scurll against Grand Metalik. Will Ospreay against Jordan Devlin. And Rey Mysterio and Neville. Your semi-finals then saw Evan Bourne take on Ricochet. We had Shane Strickland take on Akira Tozawa. Leo Rush take on Marty Scurll, and Will Ospreay against Neville, which led to semi-finals of Ricochet against Shane Strickland and Marty Scurll against Neville, which has our final as Ricochet versus Marty Scurll. And it was a decent matchup that saw Marty Scurll, the villain, defeat Ricochet in 1907 with a handful of tights, meaning that Marty Scurll is your Cruiserweight Classic winner, and he will get a championship match either at his brand's December pay-per-view or at the Royal Rumble. So B77, an 84 for Ricochet, a 72 for Marty. We're building them up, and hopefully that's going to be the one match that gets them close to there. And he celebrates after it, just basically slagging off Ricochet and just saying it's now time for the villain to reign in the Cruiserweight division. Next up we have the tag team final. Now this was interesting. Let's go through the bracket for this. So I had a few kind of rounds as well where it was like prelims. So I'll try and make sense of this because my writing is atrocious. We had Keith Lee and Mustafa Ali first took on Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. We had Imperium defeat Okada and Tanahashi. We then had, I can't even read that. We basically ended up with a semi-final with basically the Imperium against Mustafa Ali and Keith Lee. Obviously Keith Lee and Ali get the upset victory there. Try to see what outfit this is in there. Oh, it's Finn Balor and Jordan Devlin. We all know how their tag team chemistry is. Not good. On the other side of the bracket we had Kenny Omega and Xavier Woods defeating the Revival. We had AOP defeating the Usos. We then had Woods and Omega defeating the Bucks, and we had AOP then defeat Omega and Woods. However, bad long-term injury for Akam. Then decides to get on the painkillers, so we need to send him to rehab. So he's out for the rest of the save. AOP are done. They've vacated the Tag Team Championships, meaning that we had a Dusty Cup, or Tag Team Invitational, that had decent wrestling but not a lot of heat, and it saw Mustafa Ali and Keith Lee defeat Kenny Omega and Xavier Woods in 14:02, when Keith Lee made Xavier Woods bask in his glory. So they win the Tag Team Invitationals, a B82. Got a long way to go with building them up. They have been booked really strong, but in terms of in-ring performance, still just a 59 and a 66. Disappointing that, you know, we're quite far in the save when these guys kind of became main roster, so I was more aware of them. We then move on to one of two matches that are traditional Survivor Series matches. We had in the women's side about that had decent wrestling but not a lot of heat. And it was the team of Toni Storm, she's back from injury, Charlotte, Tegan Knox, Bayley and Lacey Evans, who's now up from developmental, defeating the team of the talented Rhea Ripley, Laurel Van Ness, Deonna Purrazzo, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville in 13:42 when Lacey picked up the win on Deonna Purrazzo. Just try to push Lacey as quick as we can. You can see there she has got a big deficit in terms of in-ring performance, so we need to get her up there, and the only person that would probably take her defeat there would be Deonna. But happy with that, and a B plus 85 is exceptional considering that was only 13 minutes as well, so an absolute credit to a very talented women's division. Next up, the Cruiserweight Championship on the line, the farewell match for Rey Mysterio, and it was a decent match-up with subpar wrestling unfortunately. Lio Rush picks up the win in 10:07 with the Rush Hour, his 7th title defence. Cause Ray's retiring, I felt let's give him one more opportunity, and it was a B minus 73. You can see they're holding back, storytelling match, stamina, declining physical ability. It's hampered them like nothing else. And after the match up, he just says farewell because Rey Mysterio is gone. B77. The IC title was on the line next, a storyline we are thankfully getting finished. Good wrestling and a decent reaction from the audience. We had Matt Riddle defeat Randy Orton in 17:24, so the Broman continues his great streak of IC title defences. 9 he's at now. And B81 could have been a lot better, but a stacked card, and yeah, it's one of those days. But anyway, the Broman is good. Then we came to the men's 5v5 matchup. It had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, and it was the heel team of Aleister Black, Kevin Owens, Switchblade, Tommaso Ciampa and Shinsuke Nakamura who defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi, Johnny Gargano, Kazuchika Okada, Samoa Joe and Kota Ibushi in 2009 when Ciampa defeated Ibushi with the Project Ciampa. Just a couple of guys on the heel side that I'm really looking to push. It's a very stacked roster, admittedly. You can see there, great performance there by Tommaso Ciampa, Nakamura, Tanahashi, a lot of good performances there. Not so much Ibushi and Black, their feud's kind of meh, petered out a wee bit. So that could have even been a 90 if it wasn't for that storyline not being over, or not being hot. But then have an over-the-top spectacular entrance for our SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks as she's about to go to war against Ruby Riott. A92. Ruby basically one match she's to get in a number one contenders match. She's been in the thorn in Sasha Banks' side the last couple of weeks. I'm hoping these two can put on a clinic. I'm really confident that these two can do well. I'm quite happy with that. I was hoping to maybe scrape an A, but still fantastic. And about that had great wrestling and good heat. We had Ruby Riott defeat Sasha Banks in 2039 with a hidey-ho. Ruby Riott, of all people, is your new WWE Women's Champion for the SmackDown brand. So B plus 88, an 89 and an 81 Great performances for the ladies. That storyline, it says, wasn't even over, so that could have been even higher. Because they have got a storyline, so maybe we could have used a bit more angles, a bit more build up. But because of the women's, or the Mae Young Classic, kind of feud took setting hand to that. But anyway, an A-star 100 is thanks to the Velveteen Dream making a spectacular over-the-top entrance as his first pay-per-view match back since his rehab. And his match with Daniel Bryan had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Of course, the Dream was going to beat Daniel Bryan in 22:58 with the power line. His first match back, has to win. Bryan's getting 81, Dream in 87, the match is in 87. Unfortunately, as I say, Bryan's suffering from that declining physical ability as well. Next up, we've got a page with a promo on Ronda Rousey, just basically saying it's great that the Women's Revolution is what it is, but she wants back in the women's title picture, and what better way to do so than defeating Ronda Rousey in the Mae Young Classic and earning a chance at either Sasha Banks or Rhea Ripley. So A90 there. And another pretty damn decent one, B+87, and that wacky psychology makes me wonder, could it have possibly went quite far into the 90s? But a great wrestling match, good heat. I said they were going to go to a big long matchup, a 30-minute matchup between the two of them, and Ronda Rousey defeats Paige 30 minutes and 15 seconds by submission with armbar, meaning Ronda Rousey is your Mae Young Classic winner. So a 90 for Paige, a 92 for Ronda. She's not going anywhere anytime fast, she's still up here as one of our main forces in the women's division of the WWE. Remember, these winners of these tournaments could, if they win, as I say this, or win the World Grand Prix, can challenge for either championship, whether whichever brand. So if she wants to go to SmackDown and face Sasha Banks, she may do. It's up to her. Next up, a promo for Drew McIntyre. He's hyping up his match with Andrade Cien Almas, which is a B+88. This is your final of the World Grand Prix. I completely forgot to go through the matches on the women's side, but we basically had Ruby Riott defeat Laurel Van Ness, then she defeated Charlotte, Ronda defeated Rhea, then we had Ronda defeat Ruby to get into the final. We had Tegan Nox defeat Bayley, Tegan Nox defeat Dana Brooke, Paige defeated Sasha, Paige defeated Tegan Nox, which led to Ronda versus Paige in the final. The men's side, if I can read this out, so leading towards Drew versus Andrade, the 16 men with Adam Cole against Aleister Black, Samoa Joe versus Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn against Drew McIntyre, and Braun Strowman versus Matt Riddle, with Pete Dunne versus Daniel Bryan, Tommaso Ciampa versus Apollo Crews, Randy Orton versus Johnny Gargano, and Andrade versus Fergal Devitt. This led us to Adam Cole v Samoa Joe, Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman, Daniel Bryan, Tommaso Ciampa, and Randy Orton versus Andrade, which then left us to Ciampa versus Andrade, Adam Cole versus Drew McIntyre, which left us to Drew McIntyre versus Andrade Cien Almas. Can the champion win, meaning no contenders in the future, or can Drew book his way into a World Championship match by winning the World Grand Prix? And of course, we are all on hype of Drew McIntyre in real life. He is going to WrestleMania at the time of recording to hopefully become the first ever British World Heavyweight Champion, or first ever Scottish World Heavyweight Champion. And a good wrestling match with good heat. Drew defeated Andrade in 28:53 with a Future Shock DDT. Drew McIntyre wins the World Grand Prix Championship. So an A90, 93 for Andrade, 91 for Drew. Maybe a wee bit of a rating deduction due to Corey Graves and Joe Coffey. But yeah, it shows how long this mod is, how old it is as well, how long it's been going since he still had the Future Shock in this and not the Claymore. But delighted to have Drew winning, really excited to push him going forward. After the matchup, well, it says there he shows a sign of respect, just basically to them, shaking hands, great matchup. And this A94 segment is my finally turn after 22 segments, Drew into a massive babyface. And that's not us even finished. We then have a matchup which is going to see Sami Zayn take on The Fiend with Dean Ambrose as your special guest referee. So the Fiend took out Sami Zayn, he's took out Dean Ambrose, he's took out Seth Rollins, who's still on hiatus. With Dean Ambrose as referee, surely Sami Zayn has got to get his revenge over the Fiend. That is an A90. Fiend makes an over-the-top entrance, as you would expect. It's an A91. And the matchup was just a B+86, but it was a good matchup, and it saw the Fiend defeat Sami Zayn in 1948 with a standing senton splash. The reason it went a wee bit longer, because you've got that Dean Ambrose factor. Is he going to turn on the Fiend and give Sami the easy victory? But disappointingly, the Fiend was visibly tiring. An 82 performance and an 82 for Sami Zayn. So, lack of psychology, that pushed it to a 90 odd matchup. But after it, Dean Ambrose goes, "Who the hell are you?" and takes out Sami Zayn. Basically, the plan is here, the evolution of Dean Ambrose into Jon Moxley without changing the name, just basically being an absolute loose cannon, and that's why that he will take his revenge on Sami Zayn here. So B+88, and after 7 segments, turns heel. Loving all the turns, and there's still more shocks to come. Then with Adam Cole making over the top entrance for his World Championship match, the WWE Championship match against Braun Strowman as an A-star 100. Couldn't this be his moment to finally become World Champion? Pish rating, shite rating, not happy with that, but Adam Cole does do the job. The bout had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as Adam Cole defeats Braun Strowman in 24-13 with a quick cradle. He's finally won the WWE Championship. Adam Cole, baby, is the new WWE Champion. So B+86, an 89 to an 87. He's finally overcame the odds and defeated Braun Strowman. I've got a feeling this is Joe Coffey's commentating that's seriously hampered this event, but we should recover it. You should see why. So after the matchup, he's celebrating, he picks up the win, he's picked up the championship, he's absolutely over the moon, he's shattered, he's knackered. A90, surely he's going home. Nope. Marcel Barthel has got your Money in the Bank. For some reason, I couldn't get it to let me edit any data or any text. But so basically, Barthel comes down, Money in the Bank briefcase, beats him down, ref calls for the bell, hits his finisher, goes for the pin, 1, 2, 3, A-star 100. Marcel Barthel is the new WWE Champion. Interesting with a few baby faces who are looking to challenge him in it. So overall, A-star 96. The reason we have the A-star 96, despite a lot of the matches maybe underachieving, because they could have went a lot better, because I don't really need to worry about money in this save. Maxed out on set, celebrities, you name it, music bands. Why not? Because the money is just going to go to waste in games. So that gives us a spectacular A-star 96 and increase their popularity in 26 regions. No point in doing any kind of speeches to say we are finishing the save in 4 months in game. I think it's worked out about 6 pay-per-views to go. Let's see what it says here. Anything? ROH have grew. Absolute success, so they're happy with that. Obviously we're going to win all the battles. 1.57 in terms of rating. And Pete Dunne saying stuff about Mysterio. In terms of the buy rates and stuff like that, there'll be a video at the end of the series where we just document overall our events and see what was successful and what wasn't. But overall, 991 million. You may be wondering, that's only 2 million. Well, yeah, look at the show cost, it's different. 13 million compared to 1. The only time ever get close to that is WrestleMania, and you know that's kind of WrestleMania. But look at the difference in pay-per-view revenue, 21 million to 6. So I believe a reason why the pay-per-view revenues went right down is we did lose SmackDown off of American television, which in a normal save would be highly concerning. But because the save is finishing in 4 months, I'm just happy to book it how we're booking it, and yeah, not really worried about that too much. So we'll try and fix some of these morale issues as people that haven't featured on the event. So some might get released, apart from you, Mr. Bo Dallas, because we need that Mojo Bojo reunion. But going forward, a couple of pay-per-views to end the series will be Armageddon, TLC, and then we can go back round to the Rumble, No Way Out, Fastlane, before finishing up and concluding at WrestleMania. So cheers for watching, much appreciated. Let me know what you'd like to see in the road to WrestleMania. Can I make some of your requests come true? Realistic, you know, not like Roman Reigns, we don't have him in the company. But let us know what you thought of the episode, anything you changed. Do you believe that Joe Coffey was a factor in our show not being so good because of the commentary? He's still learning the position, he's fairly new, and not the greatest in terms of talent on it, but you'll see here, F. It's a C- for colour, so that's what I went with. So just watching me, check out the Grey Dog Software forums. That'll give you an update of the schedule and situation with TEW2020, and of course the Fantasy Booker subreddit on Reddit for some more YouTube stuff. There's some written stuff on there, graphics, mods, you name it. Great wee community there. Most importantly, cheers for watching, much appreciated. Love to know your feedback. Likes are appreciated, subs are even more appreciated, and just remember that just helps these drop into your inbox and you get them in as soon as they go live. So cheers for watching, enjoy your evening, bye bye.